Guys, can you keep it down? I can't hear on the phone.
Sound was a big problem in the old space, but I've got a plan to solve that in the new office. I'm Kalyn Rothaus, and that's me and my first building project, and my first power lunch. For as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be a designer. And now here I am, creating functional and fabulous spaces. This is my client, Mark Alfieri, founder and chairman of Brandstar. And that's Carmen, his chief operating officer. They've asked me to take this building and turn it into a modern and efficient workspace. It's going to be a challenge, but in the end, the new space will be functional, and of course, it will most definitely be fabulous. We're nearly 60 days into the project. While I'm pleased at the way things are coming together, Mark's 90-day move-in deadline is always in the back of my mind. We're looking at about 30 more days to finish this project, and I can only push the workers so far. But I know it's really important to get this building up and running. With all the new technology going in here, there's no doubt it's going to make Mark's workforce more productive. Looking around the work site, I can see we're making progress. We've got the individual offices painted, and all the new office furniture's been installed. Mark and Carmen seem really pleased with how it's all turning out. And these new dry erase walls are a reminder that the technology in this building comes in all forms. I think every employee wants the same basic things in a workspace. A well-lit environment, the right equipment, and a quiet space for focused work and privacy that allows for collaboration. Sound was a big problem in the old space.
Guys, can you keep it down? I can't hear on the phone.
Noise reduction is one of the big challenges I face in the new office. My solution is to take as many steps possible to get the best acoustic value in the space. When you take 150 employees and move them from 20,000 square feet into 11,500 square feet, you're going to need help with sound levels. Today I'm meeting with Bill McCann from Dynasound, who's actually going to add noise to the building so we can reduce noise between employees. All right, Bill, so you gotta explain this to me. You're adding noise to reduce noise?
What we're actually doing is adding noise to reduce the intelligibility of the conversations that are within the space.
Okay.
And essentially, it's just improving the background ambient noise so that anything in there is the employees' conversations.
It's called sound masking. And it's done with these gadgets that look like little speakers being hung by Dynasound from the Armstrong ceiling grid. Now, I've never used sound masking before, but the idea is interesting and yet so simple. Each Dynasound speaker produces an ambient noise that fills the space to help eliminate distracting sounds to the ear. So, while you can hear sound or conversations happening close to you, any sound happening farther away is masked by the ambient sound emitted by the speakers. How does it work? You're placing them, not in every space to create the noise. It's only in certain areas. So tell me why.
Well, what we're trying to do is improving the space of your typical worker while he's sitting at his desk.
Okay.
And we want to create a uniform level throughout those areas. The speaker spacing is really, part of what your building is. How far apart we can put them, how close we need to put them is just a factor of your ceilings, your office, and everything going on.
I caught up with Kelly Minton, Dynasound's installer, to find out how many speakers we need.
We're installing about 30 to 35 of these speakers is what we're doing, so that it goes throughout the whole building. They're in the range from being 15 to 18 foot apart, and we put as many as what it takes to cover the area.
Now, the ambient noise produced by these speakers creates sort of a hum in the room. But its effect on workspace conversations is what makes sound masking so important to employee privacy.
The sound masking is a background sound that basically sounds like the HVC. We're just concentrating on different tones in our voices to break that up.
By using sound masking within the space, you're effectively tripling the distance from one employee to the next by reducing the distance that a conversation is still intelligible.
My main concern is we have one large bullpen area that seats 54 employees. And they're on the phones and they're talking to each other and they're collaborating and working together. So how does this system help in that sort of an environment?
Without a typical sound masking system, you're going to hear a conversation upwards of 45 to 50 feet from an employee. When the system's on, that's going to get reduced down to 15 to 20, depending on everything else going on.
Now, sound masking is just one of the steps I'm taking to attain acoustic value in this space. The next step, a solution for the entire ceiling. But first, we have some furniture to install. So Mayline's here installing the furniture. They've just completed the private offices, and now they're turning their attention to the bullpen area. Unfortunately, we are still waiting for some inspections, so we need to leave the ceiling open so that the inspectors can make sure that everything was installed properly. So I'm here with Allan today. He flew all the way down from Sheboygan, Wisconsin to come check out our installation progress. From the beginning, I was very concerned about the end user who comes from a place of privacy. They have these tall cubicles, old-fashioned, and they really needed a solution that wasn't just an open plan. So when I found Mayline's E5 line of furniture, it was a great fit. It gave the end user a lot of desk space and storage, but the system had no privacy. So I worked with Allan's team at Mayline, and I designed a privacy partition.
When Kalyn first came to us and talked about taking the entire workforce and moving them into a new facility that was half the size of the original one, I knew it was going to be a challenge. And there were certain parts of the design that Kalyn was talking about that I wasn't really sure about, especially the privacy panels.
Not only did this provide layers of privacy, but it also allowed light to pass through, because I was really trying to get natural light into the bullpen area. So I was thrilled when Mayline unveiled the privacy panels they had made for me.
In hindsight, I think Kalyn was right, and she was really sensitive to the transition that these people were going to make from the old environment to the new. But when I see it in place, I think it looks great, and I think the functionality of the privacy panels being both combination privacy and write-on surfaces, I think the employees are really going to like it, and it's a perfect blend between the old and the new. Kalyn, one of the things I'm so grateful that you guys decided to go with is the upgrade to the technology wall.
Absolutely. I think the reason that we really are happy that we went with this option was because we can power now through the floor. So we run our power through the floor, and this makes a clean travel path. There's no cable management issues. Everything runs right through this system. This means employees will no longer have to crawl under their desks in order to plug in equipment. They'll have power outlets right on their desk surfaces.
And the great thing is that once all of your electrical work is done, take one of the panels, drop the panel in place, and it Velcros on.
That's right, and now my IT guy will be my best friend. Yes, so Allan, I'm exceptionally pleased with how everything is coming together. I think it's fantastic that the private office solution is the same furniture which was my directive from our COO. We're going to be housing a lot of employees in this bullpen. Noise reduction is my main objective here, and a lot of that can be done by the right ceiling design. So when I originally decided to do a grid ceiling, the first company I thought of was Armstrong, because they have the exact products I need for sound absorption. Today I'm meeting with Sean Browne, who is the principal scientist with Armstrong. I'm very excited to meet with him because I've already decided on some of the design elements I wanted to include in the ceiling. But it's really important for me to select the right ceiling tile for acoustics so that it can prevent any sound issues we might have in the future. So Sean, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited to learn about what Armstrong has to offer in order to solve my sound challenge.
We have a product line called Total Acoustics.
Okay.
Total Acoustics means it absorbs sound and it blocks sound. In fact, it absorbs a great deal of sound, 85% of sound. It blocks 35 decibels of sound. So depending on what your needs are, you might as well just use this tile throughout all the spaces, the private offices, the bullpen. As walls come up and down, if you reconfigure, you already have Total Acoustics throughout. Total Acoustics is everything. It blocks sound, it absorbs sound. The product that we talked about is called Calla, and that absorbs 85% of the sound and blocks 35 decibels. And for every 10 decibels of sound, it's half as loud. By using a Total Acoustics tile, you're going to be able to keep the private conversations private.
So now, with Total Acoustics, I want to do some decorative elements in the ceiling as well. Can I incorporate the Total Acoustics ceiling solution with, like, the Formations clouds or with the Woodworks tegular ceiling? Do I have that option to integrate the two?
Yeah, I mean, Total Acoustics comes in 2x2 ceiling tiles, so if you wanted to replace some tiles with a wood-type tile or a metal tile. If you wanted to suspend clouds, canopies, you can do that, and that flexibility is there as well. A cloud is an architectural element that suspends midway between the floor and the ceiling. Sometimes clouds are actually used for spot acoustical treatment where you want to have a little extra absorption under a certain feature. Sometimes it's used for a visual way to break it up.
So the decision has been made, and we're installing Armstrong Calla ceiling panels with total acoustic performance throughout the building. And when you add in the stone-colored formation cloud below the white wall-to-wall Calla ceiling, we're not only getting a beautiful design, but also another layer of sound absorption.
The design that was employed here was really just using the ceiling tile as canvas. We are blocking as much sound as we can. We're absorbing practically 100% of the sound. And now it's just a matter of where we decide to paint those tiles throughout the space.
So the ceiling tiles are in. Next up, fine-tuning the sound of an open office space. So the Dynasound sound masking speakers are in place. The Armstrong Calla ceiling panels with total acoustic performance have also been installed. And the Mayline office furniture is ready to go with its privacy panels. I think we're well on our way to addressing any concerns that employees may have about noise and privacy when they move into this bullpen. But first, this office space needs some final sound tuning to make sure it's ready for occupancy. And that's why Dynasound has come back for a final tuning. So we've got the system in place, and now our employees are about to move in. What do we do next?
Well, the next thing is our technician comes in and balances the system based on your environment. No two buildings are alike. So you've got an open structured environment. We'll tune the system and for uniformity and sound everywhere prior to day one. And what we're trying to accomplish there is to make sure we have the right sound levels, that the uniformity is good, and that we're covering the speech frequency range of everyone.
Armstrong Commercial Ceilings has also sent over Bennett Brooks, an acoustic engineer, to test the building as well.
What I'm going to be doing in this space is we blast pink noise through loudspeakers, we measure it with sound analyzers, and then we organize everything, all the data in the computer. The answers that we will give you on the quality of this space are speech privacy level, background sound level, reverberation time, and in the end, we'll give you a % of quality that you can apply to your return on investment in the space.
From all the level testing we're seeing from Bennett, and with the Dynasound tuning, I think we've gone a long way in accomplishing our mission to make this smaller workspace more productive. We're reducing Mark's brick and mortar costs and giving him a workspace that's going to be more efficient than the larger space he came from. Something that a lot of designers forget in the initial planning stages is signage. And signage is a super important issue. An employee's signage on their office, restroom identification signs, an evacuation plan, or you know those little signs where you see the braille? All of those are a code issue, and they must be mounted at a certain height, and there are certain specifications for those inside a commercial space. So when I was at Neocon this past year, I came across a company, 290 Sign Systems. That's where I met Rebecca Tyke, the director of marketing at 290 Sign Systems, who was great at demonstrating how their sign systems can be an integral part of an office design.
Kalyn was looking for a sign system that was changeable. People were going to be going from here to there, so her first priority was for a changeable system. We pride ourselves on being modular and changeable. Then her second need was to incorporate the brand into the signs. And we designed a backer for the sign system that she chose that we could illustrate the brand. So I started off showing her our 3 main sign platforms: Modular, Click, and Arc. And we were just debuting Click at Neocon. She said, "I love this one. This is the one. I need this. What is it called?" And I said, "It's Click."
So 290 Signs and I have been working together for several months now, designing the perfect signage suite for this office. And I'm so excited and lucky enough to have Rebecca here herself, and she's gonna help me install just a couple signs to get our team ready to do the full installation. So Rebecca, I'm so thrilled with how these turned out. I think they're absolutely beautiful.
Perfect.
And what's so great for this organization is that they're constantly changing team members and moving around seats and desks change. So to have this sort of a modular solution for them is great.
One unique request that Kalyn had was from Carmen, and she wanted to incorporate a quote from each employee that either meant something dear to them or inspired them. So they had a little bit of themselves in each sign.
We polled all the employees and asked them to give us a quote
Yeah.
that's personal to them and meaningful. So if, let's say in 3 weeks someone hates their quote and wants to change it, they can because of the paper insert.
You bet. So if they want to change out the laser print, they simply just grab the insert, and we have different templates that are perforated, and you can go ahead and update your signage and just put it back in.
So thrilled with how these turned out. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I know we're not totally complete in construction, but just so we get an idea, let's install a couple of these.
Sounds perfect.
Okay, super.
Okay.
So you show me the first one.
Well, basically, this is a saddle mount, and it just goes right on top of a panel, architectural panel. So
Easy enough.
easy enough.
Once they're installed in the whole row, it'll be so much easier for people walking down the aisle to locate an employee because I really wanted the privacy with the higher partition. And so now when people are seated at their desk, someone can scan the row and find them easier. So
You bet.
these are perfect.
One of the things that makes us unique is our ability to work with designers. Whatever they want to create, we're able to manufacture.
Overall, I couldn't be more pleased with the 290 signage. It's the perfect way to show individuality and reveal something personal about each employee. Some of the quotes are funny, some are serious, but they're all personal to each employee. And I think that creates conversation, which is exactly what's needed in a collaborative workspace.
Oh, come sit and have a meeting with me.
Oh, wait.
There you go. You
It's
get
a
your...
file cabinet and a seat
That's right.
all at the
Come
same
sit
time.
in my new cubicle.
Wow, it's been quite a week here at the worksite. The 30 Dynasound speakers are now strategically placed and hidden within the acoustical ceiling. And speaking of ceilings, I couldn't be happier with the look of the Armstrong Calla ceiling panels with Total Acoustic performance. The sound absorbing and blocking makes it a perfect solution for the entire building. We've also added some wonderful decorative elements as well. And the Mayline furniture is going to give everyone a great working environment. Now it's time to show Mark and Carmen and get their reaction.
Wow.
Nice.
This is unbelievable.
I like the lightness of it
Wow,
against
look
the
at the
floor.
reveal. Look at the desks. This is the space.
Gorgeous.
Sit here. Oh, come sit and have a meeting with
Oh,
me.
wait.
There you go. You
It's
get
a
your...
file cabinet and a seat
That's right.
all at the
come
same
sit.
time.
And look at all the outlets, so you can actually...
8 outlets, one place.
Because the whiteboard walls are really cool because they just give you a little bit of a separation, right?
Beautiful. Looks
Wow, what a great space. What's really incredible is that we have 54 cubicles in a very small area of space, and 5 years ago, there's no way that we could have pulled this off. But today, with the advancements in technology and the fact that we have these acoustical ceilings that have this high acoustical value and the Dynasound with the sound masking and cubicles that actually have this high-end technology that allows you to feel the privacy. Even though we're in this big open room, yet you feel like you have the privacy of your own office. And we couldn't do this 5 years ago. It just couldn't happen.
One of the goals that we had in designing what we're designing is to have every space have a dual purpose. So you look at the file cabinet that's lockable and can be a seating storage. You look at the place that you can put your files and things in, but you can also write on it. You see the whiteboard that is a whiteboard that you can write on it, but it's a space where it's privacy. So we've really designed everything to have multiple purposes, and I think we've done a really good job with Mayline's help to create something that will work for the associate and for the company in high productivity.
So far, we've been doing structural work and installing all the high-end technology. Now, we're going to turn our attention to some of the personal things for everyone. We're going to install a kitchen, along with a marketplace, and a really cool water filling station. For everyone working here, this will be more than a workspace. It's a home away from home. So we need to make this space not only a comfortable place to work, but also a place that's going to allow you to relax and recharge. In the end, it's going to be fabulous.